Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wilson is on general comments on the council. Mr. Wilson, Mr. Burt Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and
yes, sir.
Council members for this opportunity. I think we'd all agree that water is probably California's most precious resource. And there's been a lot of talk today about a reliable water supply for California. But I think by extension, we should also ask a reliable water supply for whom? Agriculture and urban use, of course. But let me tell you what I've recently discovered. Occidental Petroleum has leased 166,000 acres in Bakersfield and Kern County. This is now known as the Kern Oil Field. It's considered to be part of the Monterey Shale. They've already done vertical drilling. They will do slant drilling towards the east. But many of their sites, they're waiting to develop. Why? Because they're going to use hydrological fracturing there, better known as fracking, which is water intensive. 150,000 to 180 gallons a minute for hydraulic fracturing. Now, Delta water, to use Delta water for fracking in Kern County defeats the whole concept of the philosophy of a reliable water supply because it chips away at agriculture and urban use. Also, it's the most politically and socially incorrect thing I think you could do. An issue of Delta water being used for fracking is something that I think is could be really used against you. Now, I would suggest in that case that either A, you put a strongly worded message that Delta water cannot be used for fracking in the Delta plan, or B, write a strongly worded letter to the state legislature to put it in the state water code. Do you think that's something you could agree to, Phil?
Well, Bert, I suppose we could throw anything in the Delta plan, but it seems to me the issues on fracking go less to the question of whether we should say nobody can do it under any circumstance, and more to the issue you implicitly raised is, aren't there uses more important than fracking? Even if it might work, it'll provide damage to the environment by doing it. But I think it might arguably be a clear legal use of water. Whether it's a wise use of water is the question you're raising. And a couple people have written us letters on the subject, but we have not tackled that subject directly.
Let me add something else. By the way, they plan to use Tulare Lake as a holding tank
right.
for the water. The Obama administration recently said, we're going to attack energy independence here in the United States, and everybody applauded. Well, what does that mean, really? It means giving the oil companies free license to rape the landscapes of all the states for oil and to frack for natural gas. And if not, I think that you could run into that, and that would be a problem. And I think that a strongly worded statement from this committee to the state legislature or in the Delta Water Plan would go a long way in cutting that off at the pass.
Okay. Let me think about it.
Okay. I have one more thing
yes, sir.
About the recent discussion between Pat and Dr. Goodwin. The real problem is that nobody seems to want to mention is that the Delta has become politicized. It's a political thing, not a social thing anymore. And the last two effects analysis of the VDCP crashed and burned, one with the National Academy of Science calling it nothing more than a rationale for a conveyance in the Delta. So it's up on one side now. You have the scientific people, they trying to get something done, while the political people, all of the CEOs of the Business Roundtable and the California Chamber of Commerce, who gave Jerry Brown money to run for governor, and Jerry wants to get mayor done in California. So they are calling for you to hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And science doesn't hurry, because science has a big obstacle, and that science is always out to conquer Mother Nature. And that they only can conquer Mother Nature in the short run. In the long run, Mother Nature always wins. So I think if you approach it on that, let science do the job, because believe it or not, the political operatives need science to do their job if anything's going, because they don't want another crash and burn.
Right.
That's all I've got to say
Thank you,
about
Bert.
that.
Thank you for sticking around.